Welcome back to the Tomahawk. I'm Mike. This is Matt, and we're going to get right into it today, guys. Hawks lost versus the Florida Panthers, both games, 4-2 in the first game, 6-3 tonight. There hasn't really been much to talk about in regards to the first game. From what I got from it was they had bad puck movement. They couldn't get passes together. It almost seemed as if like Florida knew what was coming and what they were going to do, and it made it really, really difficult for the Hawks to put anything together. In tonight's game, it was more of the same in the first period, and then going into the second period, the Hawks seemed to put it together a little bit. They seemed to be connecting with some passes. Duncan Keith had a really stupid penalty. We'll get into that later because I really want to dig into that and the importance of this stupid penalty that he took, and but it's been a lot of bad tales of going to the penalty box, getting stuck in the penalty box, and getting goals scored against us, and not scoring any goals on the power play. I think special teams has been an area of worry. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, the Keith penalty sucked the life right out of the Hawks, I thought. But I mean, it's just, as a veteran guy like that, in the offensive zone at the red line, you cannot take a stupid penalty like that. And they scored. And I mean, I know they scored 2 open netters, but that goal, I mean, we could have won that game, and we needed to win that game. And I thought we had a good surge with got a goal from Kurashev, and I just don't know what happened. It's hard to even talk about.
Let's talk about the penalty tonight from Dunks. Looks like the play was over. He's skating back to the bench. Barkov had his back to him, or he was kind of skating, kind of just gliding off of the bench a little bit. Keith sticks out his leg. Barkov trips, and he gets a penalty, and they score on that penalty. It was 1-0 at that point, wasn't it? Right. Yeah, so it was 1-0. Keith takes this absolutely stupid penalty. They score 1-1, and then we head into the into the locker room after that. I was furious because he could have just skated to the bench and that would have been it. I mean, who knows what would have happened after that? What do you think that does to a team where you're winning, you're playing against a really hot team? To be honest with you, they could be the team in the Central to beat. Tampa was strong at the beginning. Florida's been on absolute fire. They just seem to be like a team to be reckoned with. And, it's just hard to believe that the Hawks are having such a hard time with them, considering Gustav Forsling is one of their players, because I think he just sucks.
I know. I give a lot of credit to Coach Q, man. He really got that team going. I mean, they were overlooked. I mean, I overlooked them too. I looked at the rosters or the teams this before the season, and I honestly had Florida maybe in the middle, maybe even above the Hawks in Detroit. But man, they're playing great right now, and I give a lot of credit to Coach Q on that for they're buying into his system, and you got some good free agents signings they had. That Verhaeghe, Stanley Cup champion with Tampa, he kills the Hawks. I think he scored again tonight.
Yeah.
And to your Keith penalty point, yeah, I mean that. Get off the ice, dude. Why do you have to hit Barkov? We're in their zone. There's no point of taking a penalty like that. It's just stupid. And that's like a Brad Marchand penalty. Like, I'm going to stick my leg out and pretend I didn't know what I was doing. Come on, man. There's cameras everywhere now, and there's 2 refs that are just – there's a ref in the back. He follows the last player, into the zone. And Keith and Barkov were the last players.
Yeah.
It's just you see guys, they get fined for doing stupid stuff like that. And, I mean, you can't bench the guy because it's just going to hurt our young guys because they're going to be playing more minutes, and it's just really dumb, and it should. I think it killed us in the end. I really do.
Yeah, I agree. And so then moving forward, because I mean, I think that changed the tone. Moving forward, Hawks scored two quick goals. They were both really nice goals, and then before you know it, it's 3-1. I think there's about 9 minutes left in the period, in the second period, and then Florida comes back and they score two goals, and then it ends up being tied going into the third period. For a young Hawks team, I think that mentally it was just a little bit too much playing this Florida team, because I'll be honest with you, man, they seem like juggernauts out there playing with them. Hawks played hard, to their credit. They played hard, and they tried to create chances, but Florida just seemed to be a really strong team, strong on their skates. They were fast. They passed well. They got shots on net. They got bodies in front of the net, and even when they were down, they kept it up. Going into the third period in the locker room, do you think that maybe some of the guys were fatigued?
Yeah, I think we were fatigued. Again, Coach Q. I mean, these guys are playing. Every line looked good on their team. I mean, their six defensemen looked good. Bobrovsky looked good. I think it was just too much for the Hawks. I think it was their attack. They just got they just got tired, and we took penalties, and Ekblad had a really nice goal against Lankinen, and nothing Lankinen could have done on that. That was just a great shot.
Yeah.
I mean, this team is going to be a playoff team, and you know what? Hopefully they don't finish first, because it looks like if the way we're going, we're going to be the last seed. I wouldn't want to play those guys in the first round of the playoffs.
Funny that you mentioned that. I saw a projection, if the league ended today, that it would be Florida versus it would be Hawks versus Tampa, and Florida versus Carolina. Now, wouldn't that be a pretty exciting series to see, Carolina and Florida?
Oh, you just root that they go to game 7 and beat the crap out of each other overtime every game. So next series, if we make it, they're dead tired. That's all you got to hope for.
Yeah, no kidding, man. That'd be crazy. But anyways, so in the third period, it's 3-3 with about what, 4 minutes left, Matt? 5 minutes left. Hawks have a power play, and then Florida scores they score a shorty, and that absolutely destroyed just took the wind out of the sails. I think the guys at that point were like, you know what, we're done with this. We're done with this team. We're done with this series. Let's move on. Because they were just wiped, especially considering they got to take on Tampa Bay on Thursday, which is going to be another big series. But that's pretty much what happened. One big thing was that on the shorthanded goal that was scored, Boquist had an opportunity to clear the puck. He couldn't. He got completely moved off of his skates, and Barkov ended up standing there like a freaking Russian giant, and it was really noticeable. But that's probably something that another thing for Boquist to work on. So moving forward, guys need to go home, lick their wounds, and get ready for Tampa. Move forward, stay out of the box, because it's absolutely killing them. Being in the box is killing the team. But I want to move forward, and I want to hear what you have to say about some news from around the league.
Well, I think the hot topic is the trade deadline coming up soon. We're hearing a lot. Even NHL radio has been throwing names out, throwing destinations out, and GMs are saying we were interested in this guy. And I found one interview kind of interesting. It was Kenny Holland, the GM of Edmonton. He thinks that he's actually going to wants to pull the trigger on a deal before the deadline because of their quarantining rules in Canada. And I was like, wow, that's actually pretty smart for, he's an experienced GM. He wants, and he's going to try to get the player he wants weeks before, so he can actually have him and get games out of him. Because if he trades on the trade deadline day, the poor guy's going to be missing 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've been hearing some rumors about Eric Stahl on the move, and per the fourth period, they're saying that the Hawks have showed interest in him, which me and you talked about before. But I think both of us agree that we'd rather have Mark Stahl on the blue line, and I think he'd be a great addition. I mean, there's names I'm hearing, even Flip Forsberg from Nashville. He's been a consistent 30-goal scorer on a team that does not have any offensive really abilities, in my opinion. Ricard Raquel and the Ducks, which I picked him in fantasy this year, and I was like, wow, I got a steal here, and he's had a really rough season. That whole team's just been bad. I feel bad for Gibson. He's such a good goalie, and he's just rotting away in Anaheim. There's tons of names flying out there. For me, it's an exciting time. It's like free agent day, in July. I look forward to the trade deadline and all the trading and rumors. It's fun. So I don't know what you think about that.
I'll tell you what, man. The idea of even Eric Stahl, man, he's still a good player, and I think that he could be I think that he could contribute solidly to the team. But yeah, I would rather have Mark Stahl, because if Mark Stahl was out there as an example today, he wouldn't have. I think he would have been able to clear that puck, or he definitely wouldn't have been moved off of his skates as quickly as Boquist. Yeah.
But instead of watching, yeah, exactly.
So I want to do 5 minutes in the box with you, man. What's on your mind? What is going on around the league? So kind of like how it pertains to the Hawks, or just what's going on in the league that's really, I would say, like, intriguing. Marchand had a really exciting goal a couple nights ago. Austin Matthews had a ridiculous backhand. I don't know if you saw that. They're in overtime, dude. He just rotated his wrist, man, and the puck just went like straight up. What do we have to look forward to, say, within like the next week?
I wanted to say one more thing that I forgot to mention. There's 35 players on a list that are rumored to be traded. And number 35 is number 4, former Blackhawk, Hammer, Nick Jarmelson, and he's got one more year in his deal. He does have a no trade clause, but I think, Bowman usually brings the band back together. We get Versteeg twice. We got Ladd back, and I would honestly like to see him come here and retire as a Hawk, just because the guy's like 70 pounds. He blocks shots and he takes beatings, and he just gave everything for this team. I would love to see him come back. But other news, like I said, a lot of the topics in the NHL now are, especially the radios, it's just the trade deadline. It's just an exciting time. But a lot of the teams in Canada are, they're afraid to make deals with American teams because they don't want to have to be penalized for their trade acquisition being quarantined. And I did see your Austin Matthews goal. It was sick, but I'm going to one-up that one with Barzal in
oh, yeah, I saw that.
The Islanders game through his legs. That guy's kind of underrated. You don't hear too much about him, but he's a pretty elite player.
Yeah, he is. They do talk about him. I think that they talk about him quite a bit. But yeah, I did see that goal. I think that was a shorthanded goal as well, wasn't it?
Remember, but the defenseman was on him the whole time, and he just, I don't know, turned some jets on, and he took off, and the angle he made, I couldn't believe that he was able to still elevate. I don't know if he elevated it, but it went in. And I mean, there's not too many flashy players on the Islanders. They're well coached as well, like with Barry Trotz. They don't really have any studs out there. They had Tavares, but I think they were saying, you know what, we're okay with letting him go because this Barzal kid can be just as good and
cheaper.
Cheaper and even I was surprised when they let Robin Leonard go and they signed Varlamov, but this he's probably one of the best goalies in the league right now with Vasilevsky on Tampa, and a lot of hype. They're not really a sexy team like Tampa and like Washington. You don't hear too much about them, but they still get the job done.
Yeah, ironically, you say that you don't hear anything about them, and I think they're on a 9-game winning streak right now.
They're on a tear right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Captain recently went down. That was the only news I really heard. Anders Lee, who was a free agent a couple years ago. I was hoping the Hawks would make an offer to him, but he ended up being loyal and wanted to stay where he started, and I respect that.
Yeah, imagine that, wanting to stay back in with play for the Islanders. Do they have their own facility back, or are they still playing over at the Barclays Center?
I think they're hopping back and forth to that whatever it's called,
the Barclays,
the Nassau Coliseum.
That's brutal, man. I heard that at one point they were taking the subway down there to go to practice.
Well, if you listen to the diehard fans, I think they want to be there. I think the traditional fans, they love it. But I mean, it's tough. I mean, if you're going to go to a New York game, obviously, probably going to want to see the Rangers. You're not going to want to go and see the Islanders or even the Devils, like at this point. But I mean, I'd rather see Panarin. One guy can make me want to go and watch a game there. But I mean, I respect this Islanders team, and I couldn't believe when Trotz won with Washington, they let him go, and since he's left, they haven't been the same team either.
Right. So, yeah, man, I don't have anything else. What about you?
Some W's.
It's hard to see. And but it is what it is. Maybe they're going through a little funk right now. Maybe they're just you can't be at the top, of your game 100% of the time, all time. And maybe they're going through a little bit of a funk, and this is a character defining experience of the season for them, and hopefully they can move forward. But we're gonna keep rooting them on, man, and and we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what's going on with this Tampa team, and see how they answer back, and we'll take it from there. But we want to thank everybody for watching and listening. Do us a favor, hit the like and subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you for the next one. This is Mike and Matt out.